What's going on, everybody? I am back with another Prize Picks NBA player props video. This one going to be breaking it down, giving you guys 3 picks, get you winning some money over here on Prize Picks in the NBA tonight. As always, coming fresh off another 3-0 sweep last night. We are on a 6-0 run. So if you've been tuning in these videos, you should be making plenty of money, looking to keep it going in this one. And we had another fantastic night over there in the VIP as well. I went a perfect 5-0 on tier 1 picks. Been added a lot of new features over here. This is a new one where I do feature tiers now. It's going to break down my tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 plays. So tier 1, obviously, my best plays that I'm all in on. That's going to be the top ones that you should be prioritizing in, your 2, your 3-mans, etc. Tier 2 plays that I really do like as well. Not quite on the tier 1 level, though. And then tier 3, there might be some plays that maybe, I'm taking a risk on due to some injuries or something. Maybe a guy's questionable. I'm taking a gamble that he's going to be rolled out so we can get some value on a current guy posted to the board. So that's kind of where that tier 2 option fills in. But a perfect 5-0 night on the tier 1. Unfortunately, Sabonis was a DNP, but had the under LaMelo Ball 6.5 rebounds. He hit the Jaren Jackson fantasy. He hit DeAndre Hunter under rebounds and assists. He hit. We had the Brunson points and the Bam Adebayo fantasy score in tier 1. So it was a great night over there in the VIP, and also had some of my tickets hit. So, you're going to get access to all of my tickets if you join the VIP. Ticket number 1, 5-star rating. That's going to tell you that I'm putting 2 units on it. I was really high on that LaMelo Ball Sabonis combination. Once again, Sabonis did get ruled out, unfortunately, so that one was that one was refunded. But we did hit this second 5-star one with DeAndre Hunter, and we did hit the third one as well. Would have been a possible 6-man, but once again, Sabonis was a DNP, so we went 5-1 on that one. So I do want to give some shout outs to those VIP members. Pull up some of those tickets. So first, my own. Once again, those tickets that you just saw that I did post to the VIP Discord. We had that 6-man. Unfortunately, Sabonis was a DNP, but we went 5-0 on that one. It went down to a 10x. 5-man was able to turn $400 into $4,000, and then that 5-star 2-man that I talked about with Hunter and Brunson was able to turn $1,500 into $4,500 as far as my own personal tickets. And we had a bunch of happy people in the winner circle as well. Venom Talk cashing in on that 5-man, but he was able to replace that Sabonis DNP with the Kristaps Porzingis points, cashed in there. Alley Cat once again cashing in on that same ticket, and a Bruno 002 cashing in on that 5-man as well. And then some more love in the winner circle. Juice Box cashing in as well on that ticket he put in his own play, and the Darius Garland pivoted to him. CT Superbad cashing in with a nice 4-man flex. Once again, Sabonis did get ruled out, so that turned into a 3. And then I Supreme, once again, using some KJK DFS core plays as well as his own in the Spencer Dinwiddie fantasy score there. So, great night over there in the VIP. If you haven't joined, I don't know what you're waiting on. I'm going to continue to provide as much value over there as possible. Also did hit on my play of the day. Once again, my play of the day was Jaren Jackson Jr. Fantasy score, which did cash in as we discussed. I'm going to be releasing that every single day, and the record's looking pretty good on that one so far. I am 1, 2, that's the one loss, 3, 4. 4-1 on my play of the day since introducing that segment. The only one that let us down was Jaren Jackson Jr. back on the 14th, where I was once again on his fantasy play that I've been on quite a bit because I think that Prizepicks has been underrepresenting his fantasy score. But anyways, would love to have you join over there if you haven't. It is patreon.com/KJK_DFS. That is linked below in the description. You're going to get access to all these things, the KJK VIP lounge, the value alerts. I'm going to push alert as soon as I do detect value so you can get these plays in before the bumps. Already had a play earlier this morning that I was on that has already gotten bumped. No surprise. That's kind of what always happens. The first plays on the board that I'm able to detect the best value. We get those in as soon as possible because they're going to get bumped. So check that out if you're interested. If you want to get access to the lower tier, it's going to be a cheaper cost to you, but you're only going to get access to the lower tier Prizepicks or NBA and my core plays, which is the full list of plays of every single play that's in my tickets in a pool. You just get the list of them, but bumps do occur after all of my research is done. So that's kind of the deal with the lower tier. You might have to deal with some bumps, whereas the VIP, you're going to get alerted right away, and you get all my personal tickets, all sports that I cover, all apps. So check that out, and if you enjoy this content, guys, it really would be great. Appreciate it if you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload. Trying to get all these videos up to 500 likes. There's been plenty of people winning a lot of money. If we can't get this up to 500 likes, I might take the day off on the video tomorrow and just focus on the premium. We got to get this up to 500. There's thousands of people watching it. I know that we can do so, so help me out with that. It's free. It takes 2 seconds to do, and I will be helping you out with this free content in return for the whole NBA season. Let's talk about it. We'll go game by game as we always do. Got 3 picks for you as I always do. And the first game we'd like to discuss is going to be the Toronto Raptors taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. This game comes in with a 231.5 over under 5-point spread in favor of the Toronto Raptors. So it is expected to stay close. Is expected to be decently paced here. You look at the 2 paces as far as how fast these teams play. The Minnesota Timberwolves come in as the 8th fastest paced team in the entire league, while the Toronto Raptors are the 27th fastest paced team in the entire league. So this is going to be a nice pace-up matchup for the Toronto Raptors specifically, who have a very solid rotation. Nick Nurse, a guy that places starters a ton of minutes, and it is for that reason I do have some interest in some Raptors players today. And we're going to start things off with Gary Trent Jr. on the Raptors side. Guy that has been performing at a very good rate as far as his fantasy point per minute production. Once again, I've been kind of releasing a lot of fantasy score props to the public just because some of the props I get in early in the day tend to get bumped. I try to give you guys props that you can get in that aren't going to be bumped. So the last couple of props we've been talking about fantasy score. Gary Trent's going to be one of those guys. We're talking about a guy that's putting up 0.93 fantasy points per minute over the last 2 weeks. You look at his point per minute production as far as fantasy score over the entire season. He's been putting up 0.87 fantasy points per minute. So a nice little uptick there in the fantasy points per minute. But what really stands out to me, guys, is the minutes. I just kind of talked about it. Nick Nurse does not mess around with the minutes in his rotation, and it adds a lot of value to these guys because we know they're going to play massive minutes as long as this game doesn't turn into a blowout. We're talking about a back-to-back last time this guy played. They played on the 16th and the 17th. He played 42 and 43 minutes in those 2 games, even on a back-to-back. So I already checked the Toronto Raptors schedule. They got no games tomorrow. This is not the front end of a back-to-back, so there's definitely no reason for them to be limiting the minutes here. And you look at how Gary Trent's been doing it. He's going to get you rebounds. He's going to get you a couple assists here and there just naturally from being out there on the floor, but he's also been doing a great job of racking up those blocks and steals. If you're not familiar with the fantasy scoring format over here on Prizepicks, those blocks and steals are very valuable. You get 1 point for every point, 1.2 for every rebounds, 1.5 for every assist, 3 for every block, 3 for every steal, and -1 for every turnover. Naturally, just being out there on the floor for so many minutes, there are going to be some blocks and steals to go around for Trent, so that's a nice little bonus, and he has been scoring quite a bit. So, you know, he's been getting the job done in all categories. Bottom line is Nick Nurse playing his guys like the whole game, man. 42, 43 minutes, like I said, on a back-to-back, and this game's not going to be a back-to-back. You look at where his fantasy score prop is set over here on Prizepicks. I do think that we're getting some really nice value on where the line is set on Gary Trent Jr. 28.5 fantasy score. He has cleared this in 4 of the last 5, and he is averaging 33.2 over that 5-game stretch. So, you know, he's in there mid-30s pretty much. They've got him set in the upper 20s. I do think this is just simply too low for a guy that's playing the amount of minutes that he's playing. I do have him projected in the lower 30s from a base projection aspect with a ceiling of 40+ in my projections as well against a Minnesota squad that has been giving up quite a bit of points, and Minnesota is on the second game of a back-to-back as well. So Toronto's coming in fresh. Minnesota's on the second half of a back-to-back. They're playing a ton of minutes. We're looking at the spread. It's a 5-point spread still in favor of Toronto. We do have Anthony Edwards back in the picture. Rudy Gobert is still questionable. I would anticipate, I think he's going to be back in this one, but regardless, Vegas expecting it to stay close. If it stays close, these guys are going to get a full allotment of minutes. And to be honest with you, Nick Nurse has a tendency of keeping his starters in a very long time, even when the game is turning to a blowout. So that's what I talk about. The value of having a predictable rotation, the value of having a coach that you know you can rely on to not take his starters out early. That's what we have with these Toronto Raptors, and I want to be taking advantage here for pick number 1. We're going with the over 28.5 fantasy score here for Gary Trent Jr. That will be pick number 1. And then pick number 2, we're going to stick in the same game and the same team. Like I said, it's been predictable. The minutes have been there. Another guy that I do think they have projected too low over here on Prizepicks that's been playing massive minutes. His fantasy point production has been really, really good. We're going to discuss Scotty Barnes. He has a 21% usage rate. Over the last 2 weeks, he's putting up 1.21 fantasy points per minute as far as the Prizepicks fantasy scoring format. That's very, very good. You look at his fantasy point production on the season as far as Mr. Scotty Barnes. He's been putting up 1.01 fantasy points per minute over the entire season. So as of late, we've been seeing a nice little uptick for him as well. And once again, huge minutes. That's why I love these plays. I mean, we're talking about 2 guys that are in the lower 30s, upper 20s. As far as fantasy score, and you look at the minutes, 37, 45, 37 minutes the last 3 times out for Scotty Barnes. Once again, a guy that can get you blocks and steals. He can't score. He will grab some rebounds and assists as well. 13 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 block, 3 steals, 14 points last time out. 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks, 1 steal, 26 points. This Toronto Raptors squad is a very unique rotation. It's It's a very unique thing we can be taking advantage of. It's very rare in today's NBA that we're seeing starters log these amount of minutes that we're seeing these guys log. Scotty Barnes, we just talked about it. If he's going to play, 37 minutes, putting up 1.21 fantasy points per minute, you do the math. That's going to be in the upper 30s as far as fantasy score is concerned, and they've got him set at only 33.5 fantasy score over here on Prizepicks. The guy's literally averaging 44.3 fantasy points over his last 5 games, and they've got him in the lower 30s. To be frank, that's kind of disrespectful as far as what he's been putting up. Fantastic matchup for him against this Minnesota squad. They're giving up 5.6 field goals per game to power forward starters. He's been playing 39.4 minutes over the last 3 games, like we said, as compared to his 34.3 minutes over a 42-game sample size this season. So those minutes are starting to tick up. And once again, Minnesota is on the second half of a back-to-back, as we discussed already. But so pick number 2. Got to be taking advantage of this fantasy score. I think it's too low. We talked about it. Trent, Barnes, the same story. These guys playing big minutes. We talk about negative correlation. Targeting 2 guys on the same team isn't always the smartest, but this Raptors squad, once again, it's a unique situation. This isn't the same as a lot of rotations. And once again, these guys, lower 30s, I've got him projected in the upper 30s. Upper 20s, I've got him projected in the mid 30s. Just too low as far as I'm concerned. So pick number 2, we're going with the over 33.5 fantasy score here for Scotty Barnes. And then pick number 3, we're going to kick it on down to the Prizepicks Employee of the Month pick today. James Harden. You let a lot of people down last time out. I've already been seeing people in my Discord saying, we're not playing James Harden anymore. But I've got a news flash for you. If that's the mentality you're having in this player props game where a guy lets you down one time and you're not going to go to him when there's good value, you are not going to succeed long term. And James Harden, we have some good value on him today. Specifically on his PRA prop. This game has a 233.5 over-under massive total with a 2-point spread in favor of the Philadelphia 76ers, a 117.75 implied team total for the Sixers, and we've been seeing some big usage out of James Harden throughout the entire season. We know he's going to be relied on in a major way. We're talking about a 25% usage rate overall, 1.31 fantasy points per minute. But the main thing with Harden is he gets it done in every single category, man. He's going to shoot. He's going to pass. He's going to do it all. We'll pull up the Philadelphia 76ers to give you a view as far as his overall opportunities. He's getting 18.1 potential assists per game. That is phenomenal. 29 assist points created. Top guy on the Sixers by far. As a matter of fact, he's second in the entire NBA, trailing only Tyrese Halliburton in that category. So he's getting a ton of opportunities as far as that's concerned. You look at the shot volume for Mr. James Harden as far as how that fares on his team as well. No surprise, he's going to be up there as one of the top guys on the 76ers, as he should be. Heavy usage guy. You look at the field goals attempted per game on the team. Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, James Harden up there as far as one of the top with 15 shots per game, 44.5% from the field. He's taking 7.3 3-pointers per game where he's shooting 38.2% from behind the arc. And he gets the free throw line 6.4 times per game where he shoots 87% from the line. That's very, very good. And then lastly, the rebounding opportunities are going to be there for him as well. We'll go ahead and pull up these Sixers. James Harden, one of the best rebounding guards in the entire league. He's going to get a ton of opportunities to grab some boards as well. 9.8 rebounding chances per game. Obviously, that's not as high as some of the top guys in the league, but you got to keep in mind he's a point guard, so that's really good. If we go ahead and just sort the top guys in the league by position, we'll go ahead and pull up guard. I can pretty much guarantee Harden's going to be up there as one of the top guys here. If we can pull this up for James Harden. Let's see, it doesn't want to load for me. Guard position, James Harden. I can pretty much guarantee he's going to be up there regardless. Let's see, rebounding chances at the guard position. James Harden, yeah, he's at the top of the list, 9.8, trailing. It's Hart, Doncic, there's Tatum, considered a guard, but a lot of these guys, you're looking at like 10 rebounding chances per game for the top guards. So, definitely got to love the PRA prop. I'm going to be on it for sure. We talked about it. James Harden let a lot of people down last time out. If you saw the thumbnail, decided to have a little fun with that one. I know that was trending on Twitter. But he's been crushing this PRA prop over his last 5. He's averaging 39.6. We talked about the fast up-tempo game environment with a 233.5 over-under 2-point spread. I'd expect James Harden to get right back to what he was doing before. You can make an argument there's some really good defensive guys on the Clippers with Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, etc. I can promise that the Trailblazers aren't nearly as good defensively as well, so that's a nice little bonus. And we are talking about minus 148 juice on the over 36.5 points, rebounds, and assists as far as the latest odds on Pinnacle. So really good value. Vegas indicating they do like him to go over here. Love this for a bounce back spot for sure. So pick number 3, we're going with the over 36.5 points, rebounds, and assists for James Harden, and that will be my 3 picks. to get you winning some money over here on Prizepicks in the NBA tonight, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload, guys. Trying to get these videos up to 500 likes. It's free. It takes 2 seconds to do, guys. It really does help me out. And if you haven't joined the premium, check it out. You can get the lower tier if you want to get access to all my core plays. The VIP is going to give you access to all my plays, all tickets, all sports that I cover, all apps, priority alerts, and a whole lot more. The core play tiers now, the VIP player of the day, the research tab, the community voting, community ticket building. I'm continuing to just build on that, and try to provide as much value as possible. So that's all from me in this one, guys. Wishing you all the best of luck on your Prizepicks NBA player props tonight, and we will see you in the next one.